Welcome back to Scryer's Room. We are back here with Kevin and Rob, here to discuss some stuff, I guess. Not sure what we're talking about.
Whatever we choose to, like we like to do. Oh, you know what? I wanted to talk to you guys about. Are you familiar with... Did either of you read it's currently one of the big shonen, Jujutsu Kaisen, JJK?
I actively put off reading it. I was saving it for a rainy day that never came. I heard it's Chainsaw Man for babies.
I've been reading it since since it first came out because I'm a massive hipster. But I've been
roast him, laugh at him,
you should
make fun of him. Don't stifle that.
I am a laughable man who does laughable things.
Roast this man. Roast this man.
On my hit.
But it's Chainsaw Man it's baby's first Chainsaw Man. But one of the concepts from it is it's called domain expansion. Because we say in the last episode, we said things like Bankai, and we say things like, oh, he went Super Saiyan there. And people that's not what the kids are saying anymore. They don't say those things anymore. They say domain expansion. Because in Jujutsu Kaisen, everybody has, you have your technique, which is your stand or whatever.
I'm not gonna lie, man, that makes me feel like I'm old.
Yeah.
I feel so old after you saying that.
Yeah.
Because that's that wouldn't even track. I wouldn't realize that was because usually you have a generational bridge of knowing, oh, that's this generation's that.
Yeah.
We love tip assist, we stuff like that's Armin's, but the fact that whatever the thing you said that I don't even know is the new Bankai, I would have never known that.
Yeah.
And I feel old.
Yeah. It's so in the conceit of it is that everybody has their technique, and everybody has their one unique technique, and everybody else can learn the regular spell casting bullshit. Okay, that doesn't matter and never really comes up because everyone just uses their good one.
Yeah.
But the high end, the biggest thing that you can do with your personal technique is you can expand your domain, and you basically force your enemy into an arena that you create with your magic. And then, while they're in that arena, if they don't have their domain open, then you can definitely you have 100% hit rate on all of your stuff. So for certain characters, it's very overpowered.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's always it comes with the character does whatever their hand jive is for their magic. Sometimes they do the actual stuff that they do in Naruto. Sometimes they do just the holding the one finger up. Doesn't matter, but they do that, and then they domain expansion, and then it just
that's pretty anime
out of them. It's pretty fucking anime.
That's aggressively anime.
Yeah, and they all have ridiculous names because not only do you get your ridiculous name for your technique, but you get another ridiculous name for your domain expansion of that technique. So the main villain right now is the demon man Sukuna, and his technique is cleave. He can cut things with his mind, basically. He throws cuts.
Pretty good move.
And it do be doing that. It chops people up.
You gotta get Anthony on here, man.
Oh, man.
Okay.
He has the dumbest stories. Well, you just reminded me of, I don't know if he's told you guys this one. This is, he has all these little stories about, when they were growing up, there was a bunch of, the neighborhood kids.
Yeah. Kids in the block.
He's still, Isak is one of those, he still knows some of those, his childhood friends. The kids that are around there, the kid on the block, like you said. And when they would play basketball, they got it in their heads that everyone should be allowed one special move.
They're right.
Yes.
I love basketball.
The chaos dunk.
And there was
the chaos dunk.
Well, those 6 and 8 year olds can't perform the chaos dunk.
Uncommitted.
Yeah, that's. I'm sure there's a Japanese 8-year-old that chaos dunks every day.
You fucking know it, making Charles Barkley
look like a cock. He's putting up shots at 6 a.m. like Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
And he chaos dunks twice before breakfast. But most American 8-year-olds are falling perform a chaos dunk.
Our 8-year-old technology is absolute garbage.
Our chaos dunk per capita figure America's falling behind and all yeah. It's horrible.
Oh, fuck.
But one of the kids, I forget which kid he said it was. One of the kids, his special move was slice, which is where he would just run up to you and yell, slice! And slash a knife hand across your chest.
That is
kills you?
Think of.
That is unironically something Ricky does to me all of the time.
Ricky does do things like that.
He'll do some sick, nasty blade combos on me. Most of them involving pirouettes and spins. They're actually pretty impressive. Like, he'll do like an actual vicious combo on my body, and I'm like, wow. If this was anime, I'd definitely be.
So
dead right
if any of you listening there can remember a time where you were a young man and you would just like rock out like a quick shadow boxing combo just because you got like overstimulated.
Oh yeah.
That's just what Ricky is.
Yeah, he is the essence of that.
Yeah. He's a
Bless
father,
his heart.
but he still does that.
Yeah. Based in Red Pill, the skills are gonna go great.
We're all such old little children.
We are, yeah.
We're like so old and freaky, and then we're talking like, oh man, that episode of Dragon Ball Z was so hype. Ah, I remember that.
Man, what are men but grown boys, man?
Yeah.
Like, I remember I dismissed the illusion that, like, men or boys have to mature necessarily when I saw, like, a picture of World War II, like, in the black and white sepia filters, and it's like, I'm going through the portfolio, and it's like, you know, like, military men trying to be dignified, you know, the whole thing of you can't smile in photos, it's not dignified, everyone was so... Dignity was so important.
And then a guy sitting on a howitzer like it's a dick.
Like it's a dick. And the other guy's stroking it. And I'm like, nothing has ever actually changed.
War never
It's
changes.
Mr. So-and-so did.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny to say it's big. It's funny to say it's small.
That was Werner Herzog?
Yeah, base man. I love Werner Herzog. So so the thing about his friend.
Oh,
Can you give me that story real quick?
Okay, so Werner Herzog... before we knew him as like the most cantankerously German like old man that you could get in film, he was a German filmmaker for many years. That was what he did, and his like best friend was like the actor who he had like act in a bunch of his films as like the lead.
He was the Johnny Depp to his what's the guy's Tim Burton.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they were doing this movie that was based off of this guy who basically he had his men lift and push his boat over a mountain so that he didn't have to like abandon it, and that was like a thing that happened in history, and they did a bit about it in Metalocalypse.
That's funny. Yeah. That's good.
But that was what the movie was about, and they were in the jungle, and the jungle is awful.
Oh yeah.
And the friend who was the actor was like, he was getting ready to quit, and he's like, I'm done with this shit. It's bullshit. I'm out of here. And Werner Herzog pulled a gun on him, and like they shared a moment of tenseness. And he's like, you wouldn't. He's like, and Werner Herzog was like, if you take a single step further off of this set, I will turn this gun on you, and then I will shoot myself.
Yeah, then I will shoot you 8 times.
Yeah, and then this gun holds 9 bullets. I will shoot you 8 times, and then myself. And then they made the rest of the movie.
I also remember hearing a story that like they had a constant prank war of calamitous like consequences.
It was awful because they were like fucking they're rich German nihilists, so their pranks always went too far, culminating in, I think it was Werner Herzog who was the victim, but like he didn't like feel like the victim. The actor guy like burned down the apartment building that Werner Herzog was in. And, like, he called him, like, haha, I just set fire to your apartment. And Werner Herzog was like, you son of a bitch, I'll be right down. And then, like, they got everybody out of the apartment building because it was on fire.
And, like, hearing stories like that makes me think, like, dude, I never want to live near, like, high-profile celebrities.
Oh,
like,
fucking insane.
Like, I just feel like you're just asking for, like, paparazzi or, like, insane fangirls. One thing, I was in Korean class, studying Korean, and one of, like, the boy toys was giving, like, a presentation on, like, the state of the K-pop industry.
Right.
And how the K-pop idols don't get paid dick. Like, they get paid,
they get very taken advantage of.
Yeah, they get paid, like, about $60,000 a year, like, of, like, American USD.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always been the advocate that, like, most celebrities actually aren't wealthy. They just get all their shit for free.
Yeah, it gets
so it's
comped
the illusion of wealth. And you're still you are getting resources. It's just not...
Fairly Odd Parents. We were talking about Butch Hartman earlier. I'm not rich. I'm just pretty and talented.
Yeah,
there you go.
exactly.
Yep. So I know that was a thing, but one of the fucking things he was talking about, like why their lives suck, is like there was, I don't think it was BTS, but it was like one of the boy bands. Mm-hmm. Like in his closet, a fangirl managed to infiltrate it and was just watching him in the closet. And then he
Classic stuff.
Like in Burnout. No, what it was a Burn After Reading. Is that the one with
the dildo
yeah.
Yeah. So the same thing.
In the closet,
like the guy being in the closet, but instead of shooting her, she says, "I was watching you." What did she say? She said something so creepy. Like I was like, "I was watching for you, little big brother," and then storms out of his fucking locker room. And like the second I heard that, I was like, okay, I just don't want to be. It's not that I don't want to be famous. Like I'll punch a bitch. Don't get me wrong. I'll fucking put her down. But the idea of like
Make her
not being famous and getting away with that, and being in the room over is what I'm afraid of.
Yeah,
that's what I'm afraid of. Just being in like my little like apartment, my studio apartment. I'm a poor drunk, whatever the fuck, doesn't matter.
Right.
Doing real degen hours. And for some reason, the guy over is like fucking Russell Crowe on a bender, and I don't know, and I should be able to know that. I should
hiding,
be something
hiding from his manager to do drugs.
Before we get too far away from it, Burn After Reading is considered like a lesser Coen Brothers movie. That movie rules.
I love it.
10 out of 10.
Dude,
what do we learn?
I
don't know.
Nothing. Nobody learned anything. Like the way that it's like a spy movie, but a farce where no one actually matters, and it's just people being stupid in a circles to no gain.
I love that movie because it's such a slice of life, and how this is how people actually behave.
Yeah.
This is like the arrogant contractor being pushed out of his position because, no, you're just an arrogant cunt. That's why you're getting fired. Yeah. You bitching about this is why you're being fired.
People are watching him and nobody
Paranoid idiot.
cares.
Paranoid idiot. Yeah. I've been there.
The first time I watched that movie, I was like, this is okay. Then I rewatched it and I was like, oh my god, this is a 10. It's so fucking good, man.
Like when he fucks up to the plane.
Yeah, Burn After Reading.
Yeah, Burn After Reading. 10
he flees and they're like, why? Yeah. And it's fantastic.
Yeah. I love the famous last line. What do we learn? I don't know. Not to do it again, I guess.
So last time we were talking about Elvis a little bit.
Yeah.
And just to bring back Elvis a little bit. So one of the famous stories about him was how he turned off televisions. Are you familiar?
She shot them.
He just shot him.
What a fucking chat, bro.
So
I long to go back to a time where that's viable.
So that just made me think, like, what if that is like an adaptation that he has, because so many times he opens his closet and there's like some girl from like in the 50s is just like, oh my stars, I knew you would be here. And he's just, get the hell out of here. Go on, get.
Pulls his Glock on him.
Yeah, because he's got his. I think he had like a white revolver that like.
Sexy.
Just made of cocaine, probably.
Oh, yeah.
You can't make a gun out of ivory. Do it anyway.
No, you can't fire a gun made out of ivory.
Yeah.
You will be
nice
making me
club.
one. Yeah.
It's a bluff.
I got one for you. So, I have no remarks prepared, but I got a DM just now from Hector.
Operation Stonefish!
I got a DM from Hector. I don't know what has been said on this podcast.
Oh, we brought up Operation Stonefish tertiarily.
We brought up the concept of it.
Innocent of all charges. Didn't
exactly.
That's
Fair
my
enough.
boy.
I knew it. I never doubted his honor.
Well, he's just weird, that's all.
Yeah. Game respect game, bro.
He was telling me, because he was telling me he's been trying to get Dark and Dark working for a while.
Okay.
Right.
But he asked me a question while we were, chatting, and I thought it was a good question. What is your favorite character from anything ever?
Oh.
And the gut answer that I spat back was Granny Weatherwax from the Discworld books.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I need to read Discworld.
Anything from Discworld is a good answer.
Yeah, Rincewind is good too.
So we've had like a similar conversation.
I'm sure you guys have talked about it. I haven't listened to every episode.
In one of our earlier ones, where I was bringing up like what's the best like thing, like if you could teach a class on something, like on some piece of media, you would just like
World of Warcraft.
See, you had an answer right away.
Oh my god, I would take Rob's Masterclass on World of Warcraft.
I could tell you how to play.
I found out recently that Masterclass is a brand.
Yeah.
Really?
Like I thought like Masterclass was like a thing that like
it's like TED Talk.
That was like oh yeah, we have classes and then we have the Master Class, which is like we invited a special person.
Maybe it became a brand and was the phrase before.
Maybe.
Anyway. Yeah. World of Warcraft, like classic WoW, the vanilla, your TBC, your Wrath of the Lich King.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you how to level. I could describe the plot of all the zones. I could tell you such that there is. I could tell you how all the different characters play and how like the interplay of all the roles and how it all works together. I could describe the mechanics for every boss. I could tell you, I think I know enough to tell you what I think the intent of the developers is on something versus how it shook out. I can tell you how the game has changed over the years and how, like, a lot of, like, you know, they have their reruns of vanilla and they've had to change some things in them because the game wasn't designed for, like, now in World of Warcraft you expect to be playing the whole game, finger quotes. You expect to raid if you play. Back then, most people weren't raiding. The resources aren't designed for people to raid.
Right.
And to turn some of the resources up, like there's
Black Lotus.
Black Lotus. There's
Yep.
there's not enough Black Lotus. If you've perfectly farmed every Black Lotus, like as it appears with the original vanilla spawns, you know, even like a medium population server, there's not enough for even 5% of the raiders on the server to use it all. So every time they rerun the game now, there's like in the current vanilla rerun Season of Discovery, there's like you get like a currency from the dungeons that you can turn in for like a box of supplies that may contain Black Lotus. And I think when you gather them in the world, it like can proc and give you multiple, maybe even appear as a secondary on other high level herbs. I'm not sure. I'll have an herbal list
because you're engineer.
Because I'm not a robot and I live in America.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Listen, it's hardly our fault that the economy is in shambles, and so people are forced into
it's crazy. Like,
into game slavery.
How do 40 raiders not have one Black Lotus amongst them?
The economy's in shambles. Well, it's crazy. Like that's another thing where like in like 2003 and 2004 when they're making World of Warcraft, they didn't anticipate that like certain countries would go belly up, and now you've got people who like play your game as a job so they can eat tonight.
Okay,
like,
so on that note, I worked in sales until I lost my mind. I am currently disabled. And while I was in sales, I was very much enjoying it. I was learning a lot. And one of the things I enjoyed about sales is that salesmen at their best, when they're not scumlords, are very positive, funny people.
Right.
That's how they're able to...
That's how they got successful.
Exactly. Yeah. The thing I loved about sales is that being happy literally gave me money.
Right.
If I walked in the door smiling, I would get money. If I walked in the door frowning, I would lose money. So it was evolutionarily designed that I would be a happier person. And I liked that. The point being, one of the jokes that like my boss, working in sales, one of the inside jokes I had at my job when I was working there was real human dollars.
Yeah.
I would always say like, yeah, I'd pay real human dollars for that. And people would laugh, haha, what does Tony mean by that? He's like a silly guy. And then I remember one of the times like my boss comes up to me and he's like, Tony, okay, I know we joke, but what do you mean real human dollars? Like, as opposed to what?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, my sweet summer child.
As opposed to Monopoly money, as opposed to company scrap.
As opposed to the Venezuelan mob farming RuneScape gold, which is worth more than their country's currency.
As opposed to Zimbabwe dollars.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like,
I'm specifically talking about e-currencies. Like, the fact that, like, WoW gold is worth more than some nations' currencies, man.
Yeah.
People make six-figure salaries farming fucking Warcraft.
That's one of those things, like, I always make a point, like, when I'm talking, to say, like, I don't say, you look up, when you're talking about a video game, when you know that things are coupled like that, you have to look at the things in the video game as a real US dollar value, as real human dollars. Like, that's the only way you can really look at it. Otherwise, like, we're grown-ass men. Like, I could go get a crappy job at McDonald's and make more money than I could grinding in an MMO. And that's every MMO.
Yep.
Because, like we were talking about
earlier,
earlier...
MMOs that made that popular.
Yeah.
It's MMOs that made that popular. They made an entire e-commerce around, like, this man is a fucking rocket scientist. He does not have time to farm WoW gold, so he's going to pay another guy to farm the gold for him.
It was in Indonesia or Venezuela.
It's an economy.
Boo! Boo this man! Boo!
Yeah, it really is, though.
Yeah, goddamn. Yeah, but no, so real human dollars, man. That's I'd pay real human dollars for that as opposed to WoW gold, which is a currency.
And I mean, people do, man. Like,
yeah.
People who are, like, old and have, like, if you're, like, an old person with, like, a family and a nice job, like, you're a real human,
Yeah. You can't be grinding all day.
Yeah.
It's irresponsible to.
Yeah.
Go raise your children,
you
idiot.
pay someone, who, like, levels your character for you, or you buy a pre-existing character. Maybe even buy the gear, though they got rid of that in the most recent version of Vanilla.
Yeah. The, I do like WoW Token. I know, like, one thing I beef with Asmongold over is that he doesn't like WoW Token, and to me, it's naive. It's naive to not like WoW Token. I understand the damages it can cause and arguably has caused. But for the exact same thing we're just talking about, I think it's irresponsible for an adult to be farming gold when he could be raising his children.
I think it's an inevitability that people will try to purchase gold. People will try to buy items and boost. I think that's an inevitability. And like, if you're Blizzard and you're trying to make money, these days you're trying to put in no money and get out lots of money. That's like, someone is buying this money. You might as well be the person who takes this like
exactly. It's either going to some guy in China or it's going to you.
Speaking of Blizzard's greed and things that make me irrationally angry.
Oh, let's hear it.
I told you about this earlier. So, I don't know. Are you familiar with what happened with Overwatch 2?
Oh no!
Well, specifically, what do you mean?
So Overwatch 2 was going to be PvE mode, and then recently they announced
we're not doing that.
We're not. Not only are we not doing it, we gave up a while ago and just didn't want to tell you.
Well, that's Overwatch 1. Overwatch 1 was that. Overwatch 1 was going to be Titan or whatever. So that's the second time that's
right. But at least Overwatch 1 was Overwatch. It was a thing. Overwatch 2, they added some characters, some levels, whatever.
And graphics updates.
But it's the same game.
Yep.
They just wanted your money again and whatever. Well, I saw this thing that made me irrationally angry in a way. I don't really feel anger consistently anymore because I don't fucking pay attention to these things. Which is that they did a press release thing where they were saying that they were encrypting the character models for Overwatch.
Because they don't want people to rip the porn or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is like...
Listen, they're encrypting the character models for Overwatch 3 because they don't want people to rip them to make porn of them.
Cowards.
And I got irrationally angry because you didn't even make Overwatch 2.
Yeah. Like, he told me this, and it went over my head for a second, and then it dawned on me, wait, Overwatch 3?
What do you mean Overwatch 3?
I feel like...
Finish one candy bar before you open another.
Maybe this is just a sign of me being too far gone.
Okay, let's hear it.
But I thought that it was a common thing to say, like a regular, normal discourse, not weird pervert thing to say, that, the only thing that's good about Overwatch is the porn, or the only thing I know about Overwatch anymore is the porn. Like, I've seen that expressed thousands of times. And that's
my stance.
That's like the only... I've seen people say straight up, the only reason this game was ever even made it out is because of the porn. Like, I've seen that expressed enough that I feel like that's not a weird pervert thing to say. Which may be outing me as a weird pervert.
I guess, but that's... I don't disagree, and that's where I'm at. I only know about Nier Automata because of 2B's ass. I only know about Bioshock very much because of all the porn of Elizabeth.
Ken Levine hates you for that.
Yeah, well, you know what? I fap to your 3D daughter, and I don't care. Get fucked. You shouldn't have made her so hot.
Her dick is huge.
Yeah, her dick is massive. Bigger than mine.
That's why she's in the movies.
They're going to make that Bioshock 4. That's something I can complain about for a second. I think Bioshock Infinite was not very good. I think the fun...
Is that the one that was in the sky?
That was the one that was in the sky.
I'll never know.
I, for years, didn't play it, and I saw the people talking about it, but Matt just told me he just told me why it was bad and said it was bad.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed to hear. And then 10 years later, I played it. I finished 1 and 2 because I replay those in System Shock every now and then.
Right.
I like them a lot, and what our friend Matt told me more than a decade ago was exactly correct. The fun of Bioshock, and especially Bioshock 2, was you got 10 guns, and every gun's got 3 ammo types, and you got 10 powers, 12, 15 powers, and they're all doing different shit. You're shooting this gun, blam, 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 and you switch up to this gun, you shoot this gun, you fire lightning out of your hand, and you switch to something else, and you're constantly pulling out these different tools, and you have 50 different ways to fuck shit up, and you got them all active all at the same time, and you're moving through the level blam, 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 do this, shoot this guy, freeze this guy, fire this guy, lightning this guy, this kind of gun on this guy, switch to this gun, blow this guy up, put mine on the ground, and even there's the mini game. I've heard people say they don't like this part as much, and that's fair. I get why people say that. There's the part of the game where you have the little sister, and you have to defend the little sister while she gathers Adam, the resource to buy more powers.
Yeah.
And you can set that up to where, okay, I think they're going to spawn here, here, and here, so I place landmines here. There's tons of, there's one of the weapons is a little trap rivet, like a steel rivet, that has like a red laser line, and it flies up like a bouncing Betty, and it's just like a bullet trap, basically, an individual bullet trap surround your little protectee with bullet traps, and there's like spears that have like an electric wire that leave a wire across, and you can summon all these robots. And so by the time you actually finally start this little minigame where you're defending the little girl while she gathers the stuff,
you fortified your defenses.
You're just in like a castle of fortifications, and you just sit there and spray bees out of your hands over and over again. Bees! And you don't have to aim at anything. You've taken care of that part. You already did all that part. And the amount of different ways that you can different guns and bullets and different ways you can interact with all that stuff is so cool and so much fun, and they really turn it up in the second game, and they iterate on the stuff that they needed to be better. And then in Bioshock Infinite, you can only hold 2 guns at once.
That sounds lame.
Yeah.
That sounds lame and not fun. Is it supposed to be that you're a cuck? I guess it is. You're following Elizabeth, so I guess you are a cuck.
I'm sure that everything in Bioshock Infinite has like not just intentionality behind it, but like you can find a recording of the guy Ken Levine saying like, "This is why I've done this and this is why I've done this." He's definitely that type of dude. At least that's
his
my
design. Captain's log.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like they got Bioshock 4 coming out, and my first thought was like, I think that's an L for this guy. Like I think. Again, if I'm wrong, someone can leave a nasty comment calling me a dumbass.
Yeah.
My reading of this guy is he's kind of like a Hideo Kojima or like a what the fuck is the Naughty Dog guy? Neil Druckmann, where he I want to make movies, not video games.
Yeah. Where he thinks that he's a pioneer of a new art form. Yeah.
His name is James Cameron.
Yeah.
I
think that he wanted to be like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm done with this series, and hasn't. I don't know if they're like that to truck money up to his house, or if you're like, oh, I need this money, I gotta do this thing I didn't want to do.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't think there'd ever be a Bioshock 4.
You think he's done grieving over Elizabeth being a slut?
I don't know. You should ask him.
He'll punch me, bro. He'll punch me right in my idiot face.
You should tweet him from your account. You should tweet him from your podcast account and be like, hey, what do you think of, talk to me about Elizabeth, I'm fucking your daughter right now, bro, what do you think about that?
I'm going to do that after I finish recording.
I'm jacking my dick to your daughter right now, bro. What are your thoughts on this?
Bold strategy, we'll see how it plays out.
I love that the first half of this conversation, he made 2 things I really like, and then another thing I at least kind of like, and then he started making things I didn't really like. So I'm going to antagonize him by saying I'm fucking his daughter.
Oh, it's just
I didn't play any of the games. I have no investment in this one or ass, bro.
You gotta know if you're gonna. You can't say that, man.
That's chumming the waters.
The Streisand effect. Where don't look at my mansion. Oh, don't fuck my daughter. What? I'm gonna fuck your daughter so much harder, bro.
Yeah.
And the worst case is it's only become easier because source filmmakers become easier to use. It went from her ass being way too flat for me to even get it up to where, it's voluptuous and round, bro. Those models, it can be whatever I want, man. Mm-hmm. So, sorry, bro. You shouldn't have made her so hot. It's your fault, not mine. Blaming the victim.
How dare you? How dare you do that?
I'm not sorry, bro.
Listen, there's infinite dimensions that she travels through as part of the storyline for the game.
This is your canon.
Yeah.
It is your canon that I'm fucking your daughter.
And one of them, she does squats every day.
Yes, sir.
Eats well and has slightly different genetics. This is that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a fucking demon, bro. It's not
biology works a little bit differently.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. I don't make the rules. I just
jack off
to them. Yeah.
I got robbed.
Oh man.
It's like the picture from that Scooby-Doo porn parody where it's Fred and he's pulling his dick out and he's almost like he's pensive about it. He's sigh, hold on.
Yeah, he's and then zip. Yeah.
I need to bring up more images. You gotta post this in your thing.
God bless, man. God bless. Oh man.
It's very much like the things I do for love kind of.
I guess I'll whip it out.
All right.
Shucks.
Oh, of course. This is actual.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
Oh man. We find an anomaly. Oh, Rob is pretty shocked right now.
Classic.
Let's take a look at what we're looking at.
This would be a...
I'm seeing Fred as a femboy twerk on a pole.
You got
at the very least, a twink wearing a jock strap in comic form.
All right, so I'm not getting. I don't know what I expected. I'm not getting the meme image that I want. The old image macro. I'm just getting porn. Boom. Okay. I had to use the word meme to get the image I want.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
The bottom one, where he's like, I guess. Yeah, that's. Elizabeth. I guess.
Yeah. Sigh. Zip.
Yeah.
I see that one a lot with Skeletor.
He's also a good one. It's a man unzipping his pants while a crowd of people hold him back. Like, no!
I foresee a future where that's me. We'll see, man. I fully intend to enter my hoe face soon. We'll see.
Oh my goodness. So, what were we talking about before all that?
Was Bioshock, video games. Overwatch 2 is angering up your blood.
Oh yeah, because they're making Overwatch 3.
Yeah, well, the fact they're making Overwatch 3 and like not understanding why people play your game. Well, not play your game, but know what your game is. Like,
I mean, I guess it only makes sense for them to continue making these things so long as people keep giving them money.
I think it's the Shrek 5 problem. Like, Shrek 4... We didn't get Shrek 5 for a long time, and we shouldn't have even had Shrek 3 or 4. The reason we had Shrek 4 is because Shrek 3 made just enough money that investors...
To warrant a Shrek 4,
yeah. Exactly. We can still make profits off this.
Sold a lot. Wasn't it 2? Puss in Boots 2?
Yeah, so
that's what happened.
The first Puss in Boots movie, actually, it sold fine enough. But it had Zach Galifianakis in it and like a bunch of other things.
And I have a theory about Puss in Boots 2, but keep going.
And then Puss in Boots 2, which is... it is good. It was a good movie. Did you watch it?
No.
It was good. It was better than it had any right to be.
Okay, so
we're gonna call it Shrek 7.
Yeah.
Not Shrek 5.
Yeah, technically, yeah. So the theory I have about why Shrek 5 exists, and it's directly related to Puss in Boots 2, and going back to perverts, the amount of horny women. So one phenomena we're currently dealing with, I would say it's an epidemic. Because it is across the globe, is werewolf porn.
That would be a pandemic.
Where's Lori?
Right.
What do you mean? You can't be talking about this with me. You're wasting it.
Oh, werewolf breeding area, bro. What do you know about it?
Oh
my god. Anyway.
For those of you listening at home, Mario is he's not like interested in werewolves or anything by any like real stretch, but because of his algorithm, YouTube and the internet really thinks that he's into it in like a very aggressive way because they always just keep sending him things. So
But in his defense, the algorithm also thinks Kevin is my sister and also an elderly black woman. So
yeah.
Maybe they're kind of dumb.
So yeah, many years ago when facial recognition and stuff were still in their infancy, it said that I was an older girl, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then I looked in. It used to be a thing. I don't know if it's still a thing. On Facebook, you could go to like your analytics, your ad settings and whatnot, and you could see what Facebook thought you were. Mm-hmm. Because like you don't have to answer like, are you Caucasian or whatever to Facebook. Like they don't fucking ask. But according to Facebook, I was an African American, which is pretty funny because I'm strikingly Caucasian.
Welsh.
But so the joke was that I'm Tony's big sister.
And
he doesn't care for it.
Because I have a big sister and I love her.
And I love her too. She's great.
But anyway, to go back to my theory, all of these horny ass fujoshis who can't stop making werewolf porn lost their fucking mind over death. Oh, yeah. The amount of fucking porn I've just stumbled upon, because I lust over Luna, that's my waifu. It's my werewolf waifu. I'm not gonna fucking hide that. But yeah, that's one of the ones they keep shipping, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And it's death.
Yeah.
And it's like a problematic amount of fucking content. So like, I fully attribute to put the spawn of Shrek 5 to werewolf porn. 100%. 100%.
That's funny.
There are like 2 new episodes of Hell of a Boss that I need to watch.
Yeah, I've been behind too.
I'm behind on that.
It's funny,
and then I'm supposed to watch Has Been Hotel.
So ever since Has Been dropped, because I didn't like it as much as I wanted to, it kind of took the wind out of my social busy pop.
Yeah.
And then like,
which is a shame. I really like them.
Yeah, I've come to understand most of my draw to that studio's work is purely their style.
Right.
I love their cartoony style and just the way they use shapes and the way they use energy within the characters. It's very springy and very dynamic and very colorful.
Right.
And that is why, shout out to the artist I hired, Nightfall.
Oh, big fan of this.
You should follow her on Instagram. It's night_fall.14. She is an aspiring artist. You should try to support her if you can.
Can we pop a link to that in the description?
Yeah, I'll pop a link in the description. Yeah, check the YouTube YouTube description for a link to her Instagram. I have been commissioning her for artwork for my D&D setting. So if you do end up checking out Keldon at any point, you will be seeing a lot of her artwork showcased there. And the thumbnail for our podcast is actually done by the lovely Nightfall. But yeah, one thing about commissioning her and knowing that she's trying to like model her own style off of theirs is when I realized that was almost the entire draw for me, is purely like that art style. Mm-hmm. And for some reason that like made me like the show less. Like I understood how much of the heavy lifting was purely the aesthetics. And I'm not saying the content is bad. I'm not saying it at all. I mean, some of the stuff is kind of cringe, some of the stuff is kind of cagey, and some of the stuff is kind of edgy, and like, I think you should grow out of edginess at a certain point.
Not all the musical numbers hit either. A lot of them are a little bit cringe.
Yeah, they can be. I mean, I enjoy most of it, but yeah, it doesn't hit the same way it used to. And unfortunately, like, I'm like a dire hipster. I can't help it sometimes. So like the second something gets too popular, my lip starts to curl. Not out of like I don't like it anymore, but as normies do have a tendency to ruin things. Yeah. And the number one thing normies ruin that I will fucking screech about from the mountaintops is Rick and Morty.
Oh my god.
Rick and Morty was great until normies ruined it.
Rick and Morty is a good show surrounded by bad shit.
What happened? It's the same thing.
Once I saw that dude screeching on the floor of the McDonald's, it was over.
It was over.
That's what I'm saying! That motherfucker! That stupid idiot! Fuck! Anyway.
Those motherfuckers! Hundreds of them.
On one hand, yeah, I'd strike that guy. On the other hand,
it's just frustrating because Rick and Morty used to be a pretty smart show that was for smart people, and then we have the fucking shitpost of you actually have to have a fairly high intelligence to understand Rick and Morty, and then like the whole green text of that, I was like, okay, I guess I'm just a now. And then the other half of that is because of that, and because of its popularity around season 4, it became a show about smart people for dumb people, like Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty just became Big Bang Theory, and like it didn't even mean to, and the content didn't even change. It didn't get stupider, but it became for dumb people.
Right.
By notice.
Once Roland was gone, it became for dumb people.
And I hate that.
Fucking, you know what is a smart show that's just regular good and everyone should love and watch it?
What's that?
Venture Brothers.
Venture Brothers.
Yeah.
I put Venture Brothers on a goddamn pedestal,
Venture
bro.
Brothers is the best.
There's not a single villain pun they use that doesn't hit, and the one that took me the longest to understand was Battle Axe.
Yeah.
But like, and then when I got, it was one of those things like, I'm like thinking about the show, and I'm thinking about like, yeah, all these villain names hit pretty hard, but some of them kind of miss. And I think you're the one who's like, well, it's Orangutan's wife.
Yeah.
What do you call your fiery wife?
Your mean...
Your Battle Axe!
Yeah.
Duh!
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm just the idiot. I'm actually the idiot. They're geniuses.
They know what they're doing over there.
They've always known what they were doing.
Think Tank, come on.
Think Tank is so good!
How disappointed he is that Dr. Venture is a dumbass.
Yeah.
He's gassing up there, our battle will be legendary! Like fucking Tai Lung. But yeah...
One of my favorite things about fucking Venture Brothers, I've rewatched it probably like fucking like tens of times. Like I watch this show a lot. I really like it. One of my favorite things about it is like the whole premise of the show is that Dr. Venture is sort of like a dumb failure compared to his father.
Failed upwards.
He failed upwards. But then, like, the final season is, like, he actually has resources now. He's not operating out of a 60s bunker that his dad left him. And immediately invents teleportation.
I love that. That's a good episode.
Like,
Good episode.
it took so little for him to actually flourish. He just needed to not be actively addicted to painkillers because he has a Siamese twin in his gut and actually have, like, a place with resources. He's still an irresponsible...
And confidence.
Yeah, he's still an irresponsible fuck-up, but you give him, like, the bare minimum to succeed. It's sort of like the end of Evangelion.
Yeah.
So,
God, what a fucking way to end a franchise.
for those of you who maybe haven't watched all the movies and stuff, the Evangelion, the original anime series happens, and then we have the end of Evangelion movie, which is, like, quote-unquote the end. And then we have the Rebuild series of movies, which...
Is it a reboot? Well, how could it be a reboot? The ocean's orange.
The ocean's red this time. What's going on? And you find out that no, it's the last movie comes and you find out, like, oh, this is a time loop and it keeps happening again and again and again, and that's the point of it. That's what the Human Instrumentality Project's always been for. But the day has ended up being saved because Shinji gets completely broken as a person and thrown away, and then spends the equivalent of, like, 3 months in a town full of people who are just nice to him. No one tears him down. Everyone's like, all right, son.
They're supportive. They give him a space.
He's like, I don't want to talk to anyone. And they're like, well, all right, we'll be here if you want to talk, son.
Instead of calling him a pussy, and instead of saying, get in the robot, they say, hey, take your time, man. We're here when you need us. And he sits literally on a fucking cliff for, like, weeks.
Yeah.
While, like, the clone girl's figuring out to be a girl again.
He has a summer vacation of people being nice to him, and then he's like, you know what? I think I should fight my dad and save the world. And then he just does. It took so little, and they just spent all of the 90s with the wrong approach of being mean to this clearly confused, depressed young man.
So 2 things you want to go with there.
Nothing, and we're all out of ideas.
So 2 things on Eva. 1, apparently they're going to try to reboot it.
Okay.
Or rather, start it up again because it's a time loop thing. So they want to... The plan I heard, which is ambitious, is they want to turn Eva into a Gundam-like franchise. So we might be seeing a lot of Eva, like, with models and stuff. So be prepared for Mecha to come back.
They just released, like, units 1, 2, and 3 as, like, master grades.
There you go. There you go. It's a cross promotion then for sure. They know exactly what they're doing. So that being said, the other thing, commenting on Eva, I think it is a real test of a man's taste and character of whether or not they like Asuka or Rei. Because I used to be a Rei simp because I was an uncultured swine. And now that I'm older and mature and wiser and a man, I understand Asuka is best girl. Duh. And any one of you fucks can fight me over this.
You should tweet that to Anno so he can make fun of you.
Who?
The guy who made it, yeah.
Oh, is he like, is he the opposite opinion?
No.
He doesn't like anyone who has those opinions at all.
Yeah, whatever.
Like, oh, who's best girl? And he's like, shut your goddamn mouth.
That is not the point of my cartoon.
I am the cancer that's killing anime, and I am spreading like wildfire.
He's like, I actually made, like, a thing full of symbolism. Maybe not correct symbolism, because I mostly did rule of cool.
It's funny. It's funny because that's
whose best girl is absolutely what he did not want anyone to argue about.
I will 100% agree, and I will even say the symbolism behind Rei is what had my attraction to them, because they're a clone, like, they're discarded, they're like an afterthought. And, like, I had a lot of, like, turmoil in my own life about being a third child and being, like, an afterthought. So I usually gravitated towards characters like that were marginalized or basically passed over in a way. So I related and connected to that. But like I said, as a man, I know that's fucking nonsense, so I don't do that no more. I like a fiery woman.
Unfortunately, I have the correct answer.
Oh, yeah?
Which is that best girl is Unit 1.
Yeah, fair enough.
Big purple giant monster.
Mm-hmm. Shinji's mom has it going on, man.
Shinji's mom is fucking...
Someone should do a parody of Stacy's mom, but it's Shinji's mom, and it's like basically like your OC like biting his lip and like getting all hot and bothered, and it's like Rei and Asuka trying to like simp after him, but he's looking at that giant ass robot, getting all hot and bothered.
I'm certain that at the very least that exists in picture format already.
Yeah, Chad, if you're hip to this, can you please link it to me on Twitter of Famfare? You can go and find me on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, I'm more than happy to see Stacy's mom, Ava Uta, got it going on.
So, another thing. Have you ever, like, heard, like, a parody song? Maybe even a parody song you liked when you were young, back when the internet was new. And then it just makes you think, like, oh, humor is dead. This is garbage.
Not a song, but there's specifically, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, and I don't care. This is the litmus test, boys. You were getting canceled or we're flourishing.
Oh.
I am still furious at the amount of times episodes get taken down for missing the point of blackface.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite episode of Community is no longer on Hulu.
That's such a good one.
The D&D episode of Community,
Sunny, dude.
It used to be, anytime someone was like, oh, I think D&D sounds fun, how do I, Like, they have the idea of it, but they don't know about it. I would show them that episode.
Yeah.
And I would specifically explain the point of the blackface thing and why it's hilarious. And I can guarantee you, the people that took that episode down do not know anything about why that's hilarious. They just saw, oh, man in black paint bad. Like, they didn't understand the satire. The whole point of that is, Chang is an asshole. He's the villain of the show.
He's not a good guy.
He's doing a bad thing.
Also,
and he's missing the point.
And also, ironically, even though he's the asshole and the bad guy, he is the one taking it the most seriously.
That's why it's funny.
Doing the least blackface that he could. By virtue of, he's not in blackface. He's dressed as his character.
He's a drow.
Yeah.
That's why it's so funny.
Yeah.
He's trying to take it 100% seriously, and in the process of going full tilt, he accidentally went full. That's the point of that scene, and as a black man, that's good. Because literally you have Shirley being mad at him for that. It teaches people, hey, don't fucking go and drop blackface. You might piss people off.
I told you about the blackface episode of 30 Rock that got taken down, right?
No.
So in 30 Rock, it's about Tina Fey basically during her time as like head writer at SNL.
Yeah.
And she had to deal with the actors and stuff.
But
And it was
quick
painful.
aside, Tina Fey, you are a gem of a woman, and
Oh, yeah,
also
she's
Amy
spectacular.
Poehler. Both of you are the heads of comedy as far as the female perspective go, and I cherish you for that.
I really enjoy those ladies.
Anyway.
But so part of the episode had she has Tracy, who's a black man, obviously,
yeah.
and Jenna, who is a blonde white woman, and the episode has them arguing about who has like it harder in Hollywood,
Oh, man.
a black man or any woman really.
Yeah.
But like the conceit of the episode is they have that argument, and then we don't see them for a while. While Tina Fey as Liz Lemon is dealing with like the actual problems of the episode.
Yeah.
And then near the end of the episode, Liz is so frazzled and frustrated, and like she's just like fucking tired of it. And then like
Jenna comes around the corner in
blackface.
No.
She's dressed as Tracy, and then Tracy is dressed as Jenna in whiteface.
That's even
and,
funnier.
And they're like, we're gonna find out who really has it harder. And she immediately stops them and is like,
No!
You are not doing that!
We're not doing that!
Go back to your dressing room!
And see,
That's such a good joke, man.
that's such a good joke, and the correct response to that. And to me, taking that episode down is saying you disagree with that statement, which makes you the asshole. That is the correct response to that, is to lose your shit.
Those are
and
two
scream
idiots
at them.
doing very stupid things. They should be screamed at.
Yeah,
And
like
that's not the plot of this one. We don't have the time to unpack all of this. I'm not doing this right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the A plot was, but I have my own crisis. Like, fuck off with this. I don't have the time to explain to you how dumb you are and how wrong this is. Like, moving on.
yeah. So that's one of my biggest, like, I'm a proponent of free speech, but I understand you shouldn't step on people's toes. But like, blackface is bad because of minstrelry. But if you're using blackface to explain to people you shouldn't do blackface, that's a good thing for society. That's what I would call a PSA even. So I don't know, man. I just, a lot of censorship shit these days is fucking stupid. Like, and it's problematic.
I mean, one of the concepts that we have to we grapple with as artists with censorship is that censorship isn't about intent.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's entirely about like content control.
Yes.
So we have these things that like, oh, well, if you wanted less blackface, ironically, you should let these instances of blackface go forward. And frankly, that's not how the West understands art and censorship.
That's what it boils down to, is we have Philistines making policy. Like, we have people who don't understand art regulating art, and that's dumb. That's just dumb.
It's ridiculous.
Not a good idea. It's ridiculous. It's just a very foolish way to conduct business. Mm-hmm. And I scorned that. It's one of the other I don't know.
Although maybe I'm defending blackface, so I guess I'm probably not the...
Whatever, man. Like, what you're defending is satire. What you're defending is satire. And you should defend satire. And thank God for Matt Stone and Trey Parker in South Park. Mm-hmm. Because one of my favorite things, I was watching their documentary of 7 Days to Air.
Yeah, 7 Days to Air is great.
It's excellent. It's
watching
eye-opening.
them do the voices is so funny.
And how, like, they have to keep breaking away because they're fucking cheesing it. Like, that's
they're just
so
laughing so hard.
But one of the things in 7 Days to Air that, like, filled me with, like, joy and pride was, I don't know if it was one of the guys that worked for them or it was one of, like, Matt or Trey, but they explained how, like, the shit they get away with now, they could have never gotten away in season 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. But that's because they built this brand and cultivated this image of, like...
Of course they would do that.
Yeah, like, someone will say, do you think South Park went too far? And the automatic response is, fuck you, it's South Park.
No, it's South Park.
South Park fuck you, it's South Park.
Going too far is the point.
Yeah. That's what it's supposed to be offensive. And one of the ones I saw recently where they were talking about the Shitty Walk episode where the Japanese man opens up next door.
Yeah.
And, like, how...
China and Japan are different countries?
Yeah, that. And the thing is, they were saying is, yeah, it's racist, yeah, it's stereotypical, but I guarantee you, there was someone watching that episode that said, yeah, they are separate countries, goddammit!
Yeah.
There was someone who actually galvanized with that message, because there are some stupid Bible Belt idiots that don't know that.
He goes outside, and the sign, they're calling this part of town Little Tokyo. And this Kim notices
what the fuck?
One of my favorite dumb South Park stories was the Fun with Weapons episode, because
good, bro.
The reason they didn't think that episode was going to make it to air properly, because they were really attached to the end of it being Cartman sneaking across the stage naked with his dick and balls fully exposed and uncensored, and they were like, "We're going to fight for his baby dick to be shown," and then literally they didn't catch any flack. Nobody even...
Wow.
Like, they put it in the censors, they're like, we're probably going to have to blur it or fucking put a black box, whatever, but that's going to be, like, the big final joke. And, no, the end of it was they were like, yeah, right on. They got in more... They had more of a hard time with, like, showing the violence. Yeah. And that's, ironically... The end of the episode is them being like, I guess they don't care.
So one of the fascinating things about being a comm major and, like, studying at the FCC and how, like, that was one of the first agencies that, like, the populace said make that.
Yeah.
Like, because the problem was is that radio was, like, a new thing, and so people were, like, throwing up towers and then broadcasting, but, like, okay, well, who gets what frequency? I guess if I broadcast mine louder over your shit, I get that frequency. And so people were literally just, like, screeching over each other to the point they're like, government, please regulate this.
Yeah.
And so because the FCC did not want to have the government step in to be able to regulate what they were doing and censor them because of free speech, they made very stringent and strict rules themselves. And, like, the list of things that were on that fucking, like, of things you can't do, it's kind of shocking. And, like, if you look at it through the modern lens of, like, you know, redneck free speech, I can say what the fuck I want, hootin' tootin'. Like, you weren't allowed to talk bad about other countries.
Right.
You weren't allowed to show women being hurt. You weren't allowed to you weren't allowed to point a gun at someone. You could only raise it like this from, like, that's why it was always
that's why they always shot from the hip, and it never had, like, the other guy getting shot in the same frame.
You weren't allowed to point a weapon at anyone. So, like, there are so many little rules and things that, like, explain. I remember growing up and hearing, like, folks being like, oh, times used to be so much better. No, they could only show media that made everything look bright and cheery or really toned down how shitty things were. So and one of the phenomena of this is the Mean World Index. So the Mean World Index is basically this scholar, I forget his name, you can look it up yourself, chat. It's a fascinating concept. Basically, he explains that once the FCC lifted up all the regulations in the late 60s, early 70s, and we were allowed to make things like James Bond, we were allowed to make things like Indiana Jones, we were allowed to make things that actually demonstrate and examine human life and conditions, because people are now constantly seeing how fucked up things can be, things have become more fucked up. And it has an overlap with the copycat effect, I know. I think Richard Sterling. That's a sci-fi. That's the Twilight Zone guy.
Rod Serling.
Rod Serling. He made a movie about like a bomb on a plane, and I forget what the movie was called. Doesn't matter. But it was taken down almost immediately because it was the first example of a mass copycat effect. Where after that happened, there were 7 bombs on planes.
So let me cut you off here for a second. Can you imagine being like the whatever like Unabomber style weirdo existed in the 60s and just sitting there like, I want to do terrorism. I really do.
Or he doesn't even know what terrorism is. I just want to be a problem.
I want to.
How can I be a problem?
But this world is so secure. What can I do?
I think
the plane. I'll put a bomb on it like the movie.
I forget the exact number, but I think I read one time it blew my mind. Is like in 1972 there was like a 5-digit number of domestic bombings.
Oh my god.
God damn, bro.
Yeah, back then, part of protesting was like when the place is closed, you burn it down.
Yeah, that adds up. Yeah. They used to burn churches down all the time.
I know that pipe bombs and like municipal mailboxes were a thing for a long time.
Like, you're not. I mean, obviously, it's not. But you're generally not trying to kill the people inside. You're just like, I'm blowing the building up. Like,
yeah, you're destroying resources.
Right.
You're attacking their life points directly, man.
Yeah. They could give a shit about their employees.
Like cash is just the mana, and you're draining their mana bar, man. Like, dude, mana burn is the evilest thing a priest can do to you. I'm so glad that spell is gone. Fuck mana burn.
Warcraft.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that was a fucking segue, but yeah. No, yeah, definitely interesting shit, man. So yeah, but as far as like censorship shit goes, like
it was called the Doomsday Flight, by the way.
The Doomsday Flight. There we go. And then another example of that is the bus that can't stop or whatever, or it explodes. There was there was a whole bunch of copycat effects with that one too.
Did you know Speed 2 is about a boat?
That sounds dumb.
You just keep going.
I just don't want.
It's a boat.
Yeah.
You just go in a circle.
Man,
Keanu didn't come back for it.
Oh man. Yeah. Well.
Good choice,
didn't know
Keanu.
about that, and I don't care to. But yeah, so free speech has technically never been freer. Like, one thing that people don't seem to realize is that what governs free speech is the government basically can't tell you what to say. But things that aren't protected by free speech specifically have to do with indecent speech, obscene speech, and lies. Laws do not protect any of those.
Right.
And so that's where like the little weird middle ground area comes of like between hate speech and just being shitty and then blackface. But the reason I bring this up is because to me, blackface is an artistic representation of a horrible time in our history.
Right.
And therefore it should be protected by free speech. It is not indecent, it is not obscene, it is not lies. It is an artful take using like satire and comedy to explain how fucked up things were.
Can I throw an idea?
Anyway, go ahead.
Can I throw an idea?
Yeah.
Do you think in the Star Wars universe they have an equivalent for blackface?
Oh yeah. They totally paint themselves blue like Twi'leks and call them slaves. 100% that happens.
I'd love to bring that to George Lucas.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell Lucas that happens. Bro.
George, you've come up with many great ideas, including
jizz,
fungo hairstylios.
They retcon jizz.
They retcon jizz, cowards.
It's jits now or
jats. Jats, cowards.
Yeah.
Cowards.
Yeah.
I want to take
Amadeus. They're all cowards.
The word of the gospel of the good Lord George Lucas, and I want to ask him what Star Wars blackface is. What would make Yoda like gasp and drop his cane?
Blue. That's George. What color is Yoda's blood? Green.
I imagine, like, after every answer, like, standing up and, like, putting your hand gingerly on his shoulder and kissing his forehead and being like, thank you, George.
Yeah, thank you, George.
George, we made this game. It's called The Force Unleashed. The Force Unleashed, what should our character be called? We need a Darth name. And he told him Darth Icky.
Yeah. Something like
badass, like Darth Icky?
Darth Insidious, maybe?
Darth Insidious?
Yeah.
And there was, like, a long pause of no one responding to that, and then he just moved on.
Yeah, fuck off. It's a video game, I don't care.
Darth Icky? Oh my god. Fuck. Also, okay, so, as far as the concept goes, I really enjoyed Force Unleashed. I enjoy the idea of Darth Vader having a secret apprentice who is secretly strong, the actual strongest. But the entire thing was ruined for me off of the first mission before I even controlled my character. When I heard his name was Starkiller.
Yeah.
I lost it.
That was Luke's original last name.
That's some Darth Icky shit, you fucking morons.
Yeah.
I've lost all immersion.
That's what made the original Star Wars so good.
Was people telling him no.
There was a guy whose job it was to say, no, his name isn't Starkiller.
Yeah, you fucking moron.
A guy whose entire job was rolling up a newspaper and swatting George's hand.
And we got Ewoks because they stopped doing that. That's why Ewoks exist. That's why Jar Jar Binks exists. So going back to what should be fucking censored, Jar Jar Binks is the most racist ass motherfucker in the entire goddamn fucking franchise. I hate that. I hate that they tricked me. Tony in 5th grade loved Jar Jar. When that movie first came out, he was catered towards my demographic, and I ate it up.
Shucking and jiving.
Shucking and jiving.
Yeah,
he's doing
a little soft shoe.
Doing his little flips into the water, and Misa go, God! All right.
Have you seen on the internet, people have been posting this a lot lately, like, can you believe that this ever existed?
Yep.
It was a toy, it was a lollipop that was Jar Jar's head, and then you click the button and it opens up, and the lollipop part is his tongue.
I hate that.
I can French Jar Jar?
So
what the fuck?
I hate that so much.
What the fuck? What are they trying to train me to do?
Like a Pez dispenser?
Let me pull it up real fast.
That's grotesque, and
Jar
I hate
Jar.
Amadeus, what are they doing?
Lollipop.
My son.
Yep. And here it is. And this is it. It's horrible.
Yeah, well,
that's so much worse than I thought.
Yeah, it's awful.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I want you guys to really see this before I say the thing.
Jesus fucking fuck!
So yeah.
Oh my god, that's demonic!
Nightmare fuel.
Oh man.
So people are like, can you believe they ever released that? Not only can I believe it, I had it. And I ate it. And his tongue is covered in little bumps. I remember very clearly. It had like a horrible, like dull strawberry taste to it. It wasn't good, and it was gross by every measure. But I was a little kid, and
you didn't know no better. You didn't know no better, and no one told Lucas no. So like his child idiot brain and my child idiot brain were on the same wavelength of that's a great idea. And then I grew up, and now I hiss at that man and throw salt water at him.
Yeah.
God damn it.
What if my cartoon rabbit sings "Mammy" into the camera? Like
you see all the bumps on his tongue?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember them vividly.
That's awful. Why did they make it like that?
So you can French Jar Jar and have the Jar Jar Binks experience. The Star Wars Episode 1 experience. The Phantom Menace.
Unnecessary merch. We were talking about Shrek earlier. I don't know if it was on the recording. I don't remember.
Yeah, you go.
Do you guys, have I mentioned the apple milk?
What?
So, there's a lot of Shrek products. You know, the Shrek ketchup, the Spread Shop. Everyone remembers that.
Oh, the green ketchup.
Yeah.
Early 2000s were a lawless wasteland,
They had green kids cuisine. You know, there's Shrek branding.
I remember that,
yeah. Well, one thing they didn't have in our market was they had Shrek Nesquik. They had the Shresquik.
Yeah.
Fresh Quick.
Yeah. It's chocolate. It's green chocolate milk.
No. It's not chocolate at all.
Oh.
It's apple?
It's apple. Sour apple flavor. On the packet, I understand from the internet,
I almost fell over, Chad. I almost fell over.
That they didn't have it in like Eastern Europe and South America, and the packaging I've seen was definitely South America because it was branded with Spanish. The swamp flavor.
Swamp flavored milk.
Sabor de Pantano. Flavor of swamp.
That's not okay.
Let me tell you, I like sour apple.
Oh yeah.
I want to try apple milk. That just doesn't.
I mean, the Milkus was good.
The Milkus was good.
Yeah. Hummy Milkus.
I can't imagine sour apple milk in my head, and I really want to try the swamp milk. So I don't think it'll come back for Shrek 5, but I hope it does.
So
do you hear that? Whoever the fuck owns Nestle.
Whatever corporations are listening right now, you can make it happen.
Shrek's swamp flavor. Yeah.
Swamp apple milk.
Yeah. Listen to me, algorithm.
So in Swamp Milk's defense, I didn't think I would like apple soda, and that was exclusive.
Apple soda
It slaps. It slaps. That was one of the reasons I loved going to Cece's Pizza before it closed, R.I.P., was they had the apple Fanta on dispense, so I would go get their fucking tasty cinnamon apple pizza and their cinnamon rolls and apple soda, and that was the best dessert platter possible.
You just reminded me, I ordered Earn Brew, which is like a Scottish soda. Where's my
Earn Brew?
Where's my Earn Brew at?
From the Erie.
Our Scottish sodas.
That's not the Erie. I'm thinking Ireland. Yeah, I'm dumb. They're good. Well, it's fuck. No, I'm gonna shop at the IRA.
Well, the Erie would be like Lake Erie, I guess.
Oh,
I thought Ireland was supposed to be the land of the Erie.
Air or Ire.
Yeah.
I thought where it's
it's
pronounced some Celtic way where like they spit on the English in your blood.
Yeah.
Like they don't care for it at all.
It'll actually be here tomorrow.
Oh, good.
I think it's just orange soda, but I have to be sure.
The Jarritos was very disappointing.
Yeah. It tastes more like real orange and less like fake orange.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is
I want my nuclear Fanta orange.
Yeah, the nuclear Fanta. That's the thing. Like, oh, this is what like non-American Fanta looks like. This is what American Fanta looks like. How disgusting it is. That's what I want now. I'm 30 years old, and I've been fully mutated at this point. And I don't want real food. I don't want anything that tastes like oranges at all. I want my orange juice to be from concentrate, and I want my Fanta to be nuclear glowing and taste like...
If it doesn't look like Nuka-Cola, then why am I drinking?
So there was a Doritos flavor that I guess only I and a few other mutants purchased because they don't make it anymore. It was Flamin' Buffalo and Blue Cheese.
Oh, the coveted.
And it was so bright that I feel like if you turned off the lights, you could still see them for a second.
Mm-hmm. They glowed.
They were reflective, like you wanted to be seen on the highway.
Yeah.
And they tasted so aggressive. It was.
Yeah, it was. Pungent.
It had a.
It was pungent. The blue cheese was pungent. The buffalo was potent. And
it was.
And they balanced each other out.
And they were really good. Unfortunately, so. I don't know if any of you out there in the world have ever been next to a person that has eaten Cool Ranch Doritos and you smell their breath and it sickens you to your stomach. That happens to me often because I deal with a child who likes Cool Ranch Doritos and he fucking talks with his mouth full of food. And doesn't matter. Point being, those chips were so violently aggressive that I'd take them to another room if I were going to eat them, and I'd be like, hey, I gotta go
sequester yourself.
Yeah, I gotta sequester myself for this because I'm not putting other people through that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I know that it's going to turn my breath into
rancid ass meat.
It's going to turn it into a punishment. It's going to make people rethink about Kevin's cool, but I don't know how. Not cool enough.
Yeah, he's not that cool.
Yeah,
he's not buffalo blue cheese chip breath having ass cool.
Although that also definitely could be a case of I know that there are certain things that have been discontinued that I really wish we had that still that we'll never get again. Not because they don't want to make them or anything, but because it's so the reason it tasted so good is they were putting chemical crimes in the batter, so that's what made it so delicious.
Most food coloring's poisonous, man.
I want it though.
Yeah, I want the poison.
I need it.
No! Drink the bleach!
Mm-hmm. I need that bleach.
People don't know what's best for them. I agree with that completely because if they could tell me that we were putting arsenic in it, that's why it had that distinctive flavor and smell,
bring it back.
And I'd be like, so how much arsenic do I put in my Doritos?
Yeah. You have to game it, bro.
I don't know what's best for me, but I know what's worst for me, and I want it.
Yeah. I want it!
Mm-hmm.
God fucking bless, man. It do be like that some days. It do be like that some days.
So, I don't know if either of you have been watching any of the new horrible Star Wars shows.
No.
The Acolyte.
I heard that was terrible.
So The Acolyte, I really think the new, I haven't seen the 2 newest episodes. I haven't. But based off the episodes that I have seen, what really upsets me about it is, in writing, there's a concept which is that if your conflict has no stakes or no purpose, it shouldn't exist.
Fact.
Sure, yeah.
The polar opposite of this is Fury Road and Furiosa.
Yep.
Every action sequence was a necessary part of character development and story progression.
Everything drove the story.
Spectacular. Whereas in The Acolyte, They make it clear, okay, we're dealing with these two twins. One's the good twin, one's the evil twin. The evil twin is out there murdering people. The good twin has, like, been, like, notably in places they couldn't possibly have been the murderer. But the good twin gets arrested, and then the Jedi take the good twin to the sites of the murders where the evil twin murdered. Mm-hmm. And then the local Jedi are like, oh no, she came back! Get her! And that happens twice.
Oh.
And they have a completely pointless fight scene that ends with, like, the regular cops being like, now hold on, this is the good twin. Remember? And everyone's like, okay, I guess. And then that's the end of it. That really pissed me off. One thing that kind of saved it for me, though, they like, the evil twin is, like, working for a mysterious master who tells her, like, I'll let you be my apprentice if you're able to kill a Jedi without weapons. Do it with your bare hands. Kill him. Just get him. And so that's why she's been committing these murders.
Okay.
And she's not been able to do it yet, really. She always pulls a knife or she poisons them, and that counts as weaponry for the purposes of whatever. But then we have an episode where she, like, meets up with this other guy who also knows her master, and he's, like, helping her out. And he is what I would describe as the most obvious guy to be her master in the Star Wars universe.
No subtlety at all, huh?
Yeah, no, he keeps saying, like, oh, I don't know if your master would like that. In regards to things that it's obviously he's talking about, like, I don't think you should do that. He's clearly her master. And then, spoiler alert, that's the guy. That's her master.
What? Yeah,
we found that out, like, 3 or 4 episodes ago. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when it's revealed that he's the master, like, all the Jedi start fighting him, and they fight like Jedi do, where they do the big sweeping motions with the lightsabers and the spinny moves. And he learned from the Jedi. I think, like, the thing is, like, he was a Jedi, and then his master fucked him up. Now he's evil, blah, blah, blah. He slaughters the Jedi that are around him.
Oh, man.
With what I would consider, like, hilarious ease.
Just street fighting, or?
Because while everyone else is doing, like, the showy Jedi prequel, like, sword fighting, he is using actual sword fighting.
Unheard of.
Like, blocking your sword and then pulling a knife and stabbing you a bunch with it. Yep. None of this, like, stab him once and let him fall to the ground business. No, like, with a lightsaber dagger.
Yeah.
And he just fucks up everybody. Became my favorite character immediately.
Good.
Also, he's being played by the guy who was the dumb guy in The Good Place, so that made me laugh.
That's hilarious.
But, shit, where was I going with this? There was a point to it.
Wasted scenes. Every conflict should matter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's only 2.5 episodes that matter in this show.
Oh.
In fact, one of the new ones, they literally, like, half of the episode is episode 2 or 3, just from a different perspective.
So they didn't learn anything from episode 8?
Not at all.
They
didn't learn anything from the sequel movies at all, besides, like, oh, we don't like some of our fans now.
To quote Ricky's brother Eric, I will never forgive Rian Johnson for what he did. I will go to my grave hating him. My lip curls at his name.
My takeaway from those Star Wars movies is, like, you just gotta let go, man.
Yes,
like,
gang war shouldn't spill over into IPs. Like, if you have a street war with another director, you can, like, go throw piss in his mailbox or something.
Yeah, leave him an upper decker.
Burn his fucking apartment to the ground like Werner Herzog.
Or go send nasty emails to his mom or something. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Do some prank shit. Go do a prank war with him, but don't fuck up Star Wars in a prank war. That's stupid.
One of my favorite things about the sequels is that the only actor who feels slighted is the only one who actually gives a shit about Star Wars, and they slighted him so hard. And that would be Luke Skywalker.
Yup.
That picture when he come out of the premiere, he has, like, the red rings under his eyes. It looks like he would cry.
Just weeping.
Yeah.
Fucking the actor, like Harrison Ford, that's the name I was looking for. Harrison Ford was like, I'll be in Star Wars so long as you kill me.
2028.
Yeah,
he didn't give a shit.
He won't care then. He won't care tomorrow. He won't care next week.
He just wanted to install drug compartments in people's hot tubs. That's all he wanted to do.
Harrison Ford is my role model.
Yeah. The only person they brought back who was like, I get to be my character from Star Wars again, was Mark Hamill, and they're like, and this is what we're doing with him, and he was like,
why?
Oh.
Yeah.
And they all but were like, well, this is how it's going. And he's like, well, I am Luke Skywalker, so I'll see it through. Yeah. And then you just see his heart break.
Yeah, poor man, poor guy.
Hero
and that's why he's the Joker.
That's
why he's the best Joker.
He became the Joker. Yeah. So the Star Wars thing, actually, the hero wasn't the hero. He actually failed. He's depressed about it.
Yeah.
Imagine invalidating they just have invalidated the original series. We're not going to talk about it because I'm going to get sad. So
you know who I really like though from the sequels? What? Who I actually think I'm glad that we have the sequels.
Poe?
Yes.
Yeah, Poe. Poe's awesome.
That guy's great. I love that actor.
Great job doing Leto.
He's a lot of fun.
Great job doing Leto and Dune.
He's spectacular.
Yeah.
The Finn, he's not bad too. I've seen him in other things like Attack the Block.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But Adam Driver, he's fine. He was already more famous than the others anyway.
Yeah.
And then he made some very easily memeable films.
Oh yeah, he's a meme to me, bro. Not even his own fault.
But easily the best thing from the sequels, easily the best thing. I think it might be the best Star Wars thing outside of like the early Mandalorian, which is an SNL sketch about undercover bosses.
Yeah, I love that.
But it's Kylo Ren.
Spectacular.
I heard that Kylo Ren has an 8-pack. and they're like, okay. All the workers immediately know, like, that's Kylo Ren. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was hilarious.
But going back to no wasted scenes, and like every conflict should have like meaning behind it.
Yeah.
They're a masterclass of writing a villain where every line and everything they do is show stealing, which I'm a simp to where heroes don't matter unless the villain does.
Right.
Like a hero's ability to be likable and competent directly correlates to the threat that they're opposed.
Right.
So if the villain isn't like a competent, scary, manipulative, all these things,
right,
then the hero is just a fucking cuck, and I don't like them. So say what you will about the game. I don't play it anymore. I just jack off to the Goblin Girls. Okay. Arcane and Silco.
Oh yeah,
Silco.
That had no right to be as good.
Arcane as it was. Has no right to be as good as it was. I watched Arcane to roast it, and it was jaw dropping. I showed it to every single one of my friends.
Oh yeah, I'm fucking hater of the year over here, and I'm excited for the new one.
Rob, your sister. That's probably the only quote unquote anime I would show her that I think she would like.
Yeah.
She'll hate it out of commitment.
Exactly. Your sister, truly, she is your blood.
Their clan are truly.
Oh my god, these pull-ups. I love them. I love them.
Otherwise, she was wrong otherwise.
But anyway, so
if I had only one use of time travel instead of trying to make the world better in any way for anyone but me, I would do my level best to stop League of Legends from ever existing.
Smart man.
I think that would make
the world a better place.
My life better, even though I don't. Not having to hear people I know play or talk about League of Legends would make my life better than most other things I could do.
I'd take out the first guy to pitch DLC. Yeah, get him with a rock.
The horse armor guy.
Yeah.
The Oblivion horse armor guy.
Yep. Get behind him with a rock in the night, and he's like, you know what could make us some money? And I'm like, ah! And then he's down, and that's it.
Like I said, dude, I don't even play League of Legends. I just think the goblins are hot, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I hate League of Legends.
But yeah, Arcane, excellent show, and Silco is a master class on how to write a villain. Every scene he is in, he captivates. He's the show stealer.
Oh yeah.
Not a single word he says is wasted. Not a single inflection he says is wasted, which is a big thing. Like, there are times where like you'll hear someone say something, and the way they chose to say it made it less good than it should be.
Yeah.
That does not happen with this villain. Everything he does, every single scene he's in, drives the plot in such a way, and it pulls at your heartstrings, because this is like a clearly evil, bad dude, and by the end of it, you question if he was a bad dude.
Right.
He's an ambitious dude. He's ruthless.
Right.
But if anything, life has taught me is that very good people can end up being very bad people because of passion and ruthlessness.
Yeah.
Like letting ambition go to its extreme. There's a quote from fucking Masamune Date of rectitude carried to excess hardens into stiffness. Benevolence indulged beyond measure sinks into weakness. And that is extremely good when you're writing and you look at a villain, because if you, or even a hero, because if you teeter on either side of those things, it's bad. If you're too kind and too soft, you're weak, and therefore you can't protect anything. You can't stand up to anything. But if you're so rigid and firm and set in your ways, you're not flexible. Bend or break, motherfucker. If you can't bend in the wind, you are going to break. And that, it's just, the character of Silco is set in his convictions, but he's such a fucking snake that he can just do whatever the fuck he wants to get there, and then he does. And then it doesn't matter. You should watch Arcane. Anyway. Yeah.
Spectacular.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know how the second season is going to go because he's not the villain. I'm almost disinterested.
I'm certainly inclined to think it won't be as good as the first season, even though I'm still excited about it. I'm pretty sure that they're going to use the same method to keep him around that they that I particularly would employ if I wanted to.
What, flashbacks?
No, I would have him be the ghost living in Jinx's head.
That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to happen because she already resolved.
She already has, yeah.
Well, she resolved a lot of her trauma with the Vi thing.
Yeah.
So because it's been resolved, there has to be a new.
Yeah.
That is the new trauma because she did that.
Yeah.
And so once again, she did it again.
Yeah.
So it's basically reopening the wound that was almost. It wasn't even almost healed of anything. She went full fucking crazy. But yeah. Yeah, it's poetic, it's symbolic. I definitely think they're going to play that angle. That makes sense. Yeah, looking forward to Season 2. One thing I thought was interesting is, League of Legends lore has always been, a clusterfuck of nonsense.
I feel like it's always been action figures lore.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. One thing that I get a lot of flack for is, I allude to Lulu, and, Lulu is an adult, but at one point they weren't. So, yikes! I didn't realize that.
Right.
I think the original story behind Lulu was that she was a child, trapped in the forest, and then she was there for hundreds of years and didn't realize she was.
Right.
And that's why she's the Fate Enchantress. Now she's a Yordle. Yordles are fucking just
right. There's
short
a
sets.
weird immortal Nomi race that's
I think the goblins are hot, bro.
Right.
So that's a whole thing. But the lore, one thing, Tristana was a Mechling. Mechlings aren't a thing anymore.
I don't know what that is.
They're not gnomes. They're from Bandle City. Bandle City was basically supposed to be Tinkertown. Now Bandle City is the hidden city of the Yordles.
For reference, everybody, I'm the only one who never actually really played any of these video games.
He was smart. He was extremely smart.
Yeah,
that's a word for it.
I wish I could say that.
So I played. I started playing League when it first came out a little bit because it was I didn't play Dota. Because Dota's just too much for me, and the League was dumbed down Dota, and I was I can get behind dumb Dota.
I remember when you first started playing it because you were playing it a lot. Everyone did when they first started playing League of Legends. You played it a lot. That's how it's supposed to be ingested.
Yeah.
And you were oh, you should try to play, and I'm oh, what characters are there? And the only one I particularly was interested in, I was oh, there's a samurai man,
Master Yi.
Oh, let's do that one. And then I downloaded it and everything, and it stopped being he was free, and I was oh, well, I guess
I'll go fuck myself.
That's it then. And then I turned it off, and that was it.
That's how it goes. I remember playing OG League of Legends. Oh god, where was I going with this? I already forgot. It doesn't matter. I played originally when it came out, or not just when it came out, but around 2006. Like I said, it was dumbed down Dota. It's fine.
Was it 2006? Was it that long ago?
2010.
Oh, good.
Is what it came out?
Yeah.
Wait. League came out in
11.
League came out in 2010. That doesn't make any sense. I thought it came out a few years after Warcraft 3.
No.
Am I stupid? Okay.
I'm remembering this as being well after you've already done the Frozen Throne and everything.
Mm-hmm. No.
You're probably right because I remember. I think I was out of high school. I think I was or getting out of high school.
Yeah.
2009.
There we go. I was gonna say I don't remember 2010, but 2009 I can buy. Okay, so then I was probably playing it when it first came out then.
Yeah.
I bought Mordekaiser when he was still a derpy metal man, like a little, like, blocky boy.
You reworked that character 2 or 3 times.
I hate him now. Like, not as long as he's good, I just hate fighting him. He's fucking annoying. Anyway,
I'm gonna pull this character up so I know who it is.
It's just like an empty metal suit.
He's like a evil metal Pharaohmancer guy. But yeah, I'm playing it,
Not anymore.
And then I remember, they keep introducing champions, and they have a business model that was clear as day. We're going to overtune the champions so people are incentivized to buy them to win, and then we're going to tone them back and make them shitty when they're not making us money anymore. And that became a very clear thing that they were doing, and that kind of got me to go away from it. And then I didn't expect the game to even be popular as it was, but it benefits from the same thing Warcraft benefits from. And this is something people didn't understand about Warcraft and why it was popular. A lot of people are like, I don't get what Warcraft is popular. It's popular because a potato can run it.
Yeah.
You literally, a Venezuelan...
It was accessible. That was the key to it.
A bunch of lemons in a fucking scrap pile and run Warcraft and make money selling gold to people.
Yeah.
That's why there are 14 million people playing this game.
Yeah.
Or at one point. The same thing
I played it on a laptop.
The same thing applies to League. League is super popular not because it's a good game, it's accessible. And this is also... Warcraft and League were basically... two of the games that established in, like, the fucking video game zeitgeist that accessibility trumps quality. They both proved that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's been the case ever since. And I only came back to League because it might have been Ricky brought me back, I don't know. But I specifically told myself, I hate this game, I hate MOBAs, I don't respect it, and I go as far as to say I don't respect the people that like it. That one's a little far. That one's a little... I just don't respect why they like it.
I don't respect...
Rob said hard pat.
No,
anyway, but my
compromise...
compromise was, I will play League to play with the boys, but the tax is I'm only playing Yordles.
Yeah.
And ever since then, if you ever catch me playing League, that's all I'm going to play.
Almost all of the things that are wrong with video games now can be
Traced back.
to be blamed on League of Legends.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. It destroyed... Esports destroyed video games, and the League helped that. WoW started that, but they didn't...
League of Legends
League
was a game
helped.
that was so bad and made you so angry that they had to hire a psychologist to invent the modern discourse about video games and how people interact with them. And in a way that shifted the blame for making the game a miserable suckfest where everyone is mad at each other all the time onto you, the player.
You're why the game sucks.
It's not our fault that we made a game that makes everyone mad and fight all the time. Actually, you are toxic, a word that I just made up to describe your behavior.
Yup.
It's actually your fault. Cool, no doubt.
Yeah, it's, I don't like MOBAs. Mm-hmm. I remember the first day I learned I don't like MOBAs. And by the way, it's a completely, like, unfair stance, and I'll 100% admit it's purely rooted in ignorance from a lens of, like, you know, a modern, me being an adult. But when I was playing Warcraft 3, Frozen Throne, coming home from school in the far-off year of 2007, or the fuck, and, probably even fucking 2006 at that point. Yeah, 2006, 2005. I remember going on to custom games, and that was the thing you did. You would get in a lobby with your friends after school and do custom games like Footman Frenzy, or like Footies vs. Orcs, or Tower Defense. And I remember I would click, oh, what's Dota? And every time I clicked it to join, and I started downloading the game, kick. Literally, and I'd be whispered, stupid dog fucking moron, how dare you download the game? Go to the website, you like, oh, I guess I don't like Dota. I guess I don't like people who play Dota. I guess I don't like these pretentious dogs. Like, I'm not allowed to have fun. Because when you join a custom game...
If you hadn't download the game, that means you hadn't played that version of the map before. In Warcraft 3, you don't have everyone's custom games on your computer. It would just download you the map when you went to click it. And the maps were small enough that even back in the day, it'd take like 10 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
But if someone, it would show you your download progress when you join.
You can't
everyone
start
else.
the game if they're not done downloading it,
And
so
it would
shows
show you downloading the map. And if they saw that, that means you're new, and that means you're going to ruin the game, and that means kick.
Yeah. And not only kick, ban. That was the part where I was like, not only...
Wait, so no one knew's allowed to ever play this?
Yes, no one knew. You have to make a burner account
It's Dota. If someone new was on your team, you lose.
Yeah.
So what?
Let's listen. It's as bad as if they clicked your account and saw you've played any game. If either you were a fresh account or a pro account, there was no real middleman. Like, it was the point where, like, if you had a single loss that would follow, you had to make a new account. You had to make a new burner account. And so, literally, like, the things that were, like, considered, like, the staple of the Dota community back then, of, like, throwing away accounts and making new ones, is not possible in the current zeitgeist because your account has locked your CD key now.
Right.
So, like, your Battlenet account is your CD key. Like, if your account is banned, you have to buy the game again.
Right.
Which is unacceptable. It can't exist in the modern era of video games. And the fact that it existed at all, like I said, I might be an entitled, privileged little bastard, and I'll be the first to tell you I'm a smug little bitch. But, like, brother, if I can't play a custom game in Warcraft Customs, it's probably a bad custom game.
Mm-hmm. And that, like,
good lord.
Yeah.
And the reason the only thing that makes it not a bad game is honesty, pretentiousness. But that's the thing. One of the most marketable, brandable things is pretentiousness, and that's why Dota 2 exists.
So, branching off of video games for a moment, so my internet has been completely fucked at my house for, like, the past week or two. And that means that I haven't been able to, like, stream shows very easily or anything. Been sort of pain in the ass.
Right.
Well, I wanted to do something, and I didn't have anything that I wanted to do, so I decided, since internet was going to be so fucky and I couldn't do anything, I was going to play, like, a ROM I downloaded, like, 10 years ago.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What ROM is that?
It was...
we do not advocate piracy on this channel.
I bought the game in real life before, so this is technically not illegal. Downloading a ROM after you have already purchased the game is a completely legal thing to do.
That's why we do not advocate piracy on this channel, but if you already purchased the thing, like I know, like specifically with PS2 emulators, you can take the BIOS of your PS2, put it on the goddamn file, and it's not piracy anymore. So, moving on.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky.
Sure, never played any of those games. Go on.
It's a dungeon crawler, but it's Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm hip to what it is. I've never played it.
And I really enjoyed it when I played it as a youth. But I never like played it like all the way through, and I haven't played it in many years. So I decided I'll play that, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. But I've also realized that I have like an instinct in me that I guess I don't know if other people do, which is that my brain will identify what I am like the gameplay loop I am supposed to be going through,
sure.
And then I will resist that like a dog being dragged to the vet.
Kevin hates authority. He's always hated authority.
Don't fucking tell me what to do.
Okay, go on.
So I realized that I was doing that because at first I was really having trouble with this game. I wasn't enjoying it very well. And I just had to lean into like, oh wait, shouldn't I actually play the game like it's supposed to be? Like you shouldn't be logging into, like, you shouldn't be, like, booting up Grand Theft Auto and thinking, like, you know what I'm going to do with this? I'm going to make it a fighting game. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's mental.
That's absolutely bananas sort of behavior. So I started playing it correctly, had a lot of fun, but then I learned something that sort of took the wind out of my sails recently, but it doesn't matter, which is, you know how, you played Pokemon, Rob? You're a learned man of much renown in this. You know how they have different stats between them? Each Pokemon has different things that they're good at? That's not Mystery Dungeon. They have baseline stats, and that's what a Pokemon is. A Pokemon, you're able to like customize it somewhat by like using like stat increasing items so that like you can build your character to like be like more special attack, less physical attack,
just
whatever.
like a regular Pokemon.
Right. But baseline, all the Pokemon have the same stats.
Okay.
And so what that really means is that the difference between your Pokemon is
the moves they get?
The moves that they get and the type that they are.
Okay.
That's really what it is. I played the entire game without realizing all the Pokemon have the same stats. And I did that because, like, you know, with these games, you have your main character who's like some human that gets turned into a Pokemon. And then you have your sidekick character, which is the first Pokemon you meet. And they determine which one you are by you take like a personality test at the start of the game, and it assigns you a Pokemon that's who you turned into. And then you get to pick your partner. So I have Cyndaquil and Piplup as my partner, because those are two of my favorite starters.
Okay.
And several times in the game, I got like Pokemon that like I like them, but then I'm like, well, obviously I'm not putting them in my team. They're garbage. One of my favorite Pokemon...
quick aside, Kevin breeds Fight Beasts for Gen 4. He was pretty competitive, so he knows what is and isn't garbage.
Yeah. Elekid is a bad Pokemon.
Yeah, it sucks.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to be very good.
The babies are a swing and a miss for me. It's just like a...
It's cute for girls.
Yeah, it's cute for girls.
It's cute for me.
Yeah. Now, the entire Electabuzz line... I really like. When I was competitive, my Electivire was like one of my big boys.
Sucks.
Don't you ever? But I had an Elekid, and it was like the only electric type that I had, and I just never used him because I know he's bad. He's garbage for the whole game. And then he really would have helped with a lot of dungeons.
Yeah,
for example, all of the water types.
Yeah.
That my fire type could do very little about.
Yeah.
And my water type was just using pound against.
Just beating your ass.
Or I could have had an electric type the entire time. I left Bees at home. I named her Bees, by the way.
That's cute.
I've been getting very weird with my names and stuff, and I think naming them what I think are funny or fitting names. Like
his bee color scheme.
Yeah. So I named her Bees. So it'd be like, oh, Bees' attack fell. Not just bee, bees. A plurality.
I think we're going to call it there. So thank you again for listening to Scryer's Room. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Dubby. They are a California-based company, and they are sugar-free, so they're good for diabetics like me. And you can use promo code FAMFARE to get 10% off your next order. Go ahead and give them a shot.
We get kickbacks for that, so go ahead and please use that.
Yep. And
we also have a special link, right?
Yeah, I have a special link. You can check it out on any of the YouTube videos. Go ahead and click that. It's a grape flavor, and you can support the Smug Grape. We'll catch you next time, and have a good night.